What's going on, everybody? We got Billboard Breakdown Hot 100, March 22nd, 2025. Anxiety, Mayhem, Handlebars, Sweet Dreams, Texas. Let's go!
Hey there, I'm Mark, in affiliation with Spectrum Pulse, and we got Lady Gaga, Jenny, and a whole bunch of crap this week. And this, it's Billboard Breakdown. So this is the sort of
I still got my Spectrum Pulse shirt. I just keep forgetting to.
That fact in and of itself is kind of revealing. I knew in my guts that Lady Gaga was going to get an album bomb, but not a big one, and the charts would be a little left in the lurch alongside some success from Jenny and other tracks filling in the gaps from other album bomb songs falling away. In other words, it feels more like shuffling around certain tracks than making any significant change to our biggest hits. Not exactly a bad thing when a lot of the hits are pretty good, but as I said last week, the Hot 100 feeling this stale this far into the year, not exactly promising. And if you want an example of that, look no further than our top 10, where at number 1, still holding steady. Again, it's not surprising when the streaming is so robust, but the sales are softening and it looks like radio momentum is starting to run dry. Even if I think the song's great, that's kind of telling. Really, it just won out on the margins against our number 2, Die With a Smile by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars, where it's on the top on the radio, but it's clearly peaked. And while it made up ground on streaming thanks to the album bomb, the margin wasn't filling in the gaps.
Keep forgetting that song is on the fucking Lady Gaga album.
We're Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar at number 3, where enough sales and some unexpected radio
how is this? Just get rid of it. I'm done. I'm done with this song. Please stop.
Which takes us to an interesting pickup for A Bar Song Tipsy by Shabuzi at number 4. It's still losing a lot of radio, but this was like
these songs were so last year.
And that added inertia kept it above TV Off by Kendrick Lamar featuring Lefty Gunplay at number 5, where it may have peaked a little lower on the radio and then saw the streaming slip. Then we had Apartment by Rose and Bruno Mars seeming to hold at number 6, although given how it's losing
Where's the Bruno album?
Board, it might just be nothing
Where is it?
Strength to overtake it just yet, more of a margins game.
People really forgot about Fat, Juicy, and Wet.
Up to number 7 as good sales and strong ratings.
That's not really flopped, huh?
Streaming taking back a step. Although if I'm going to be candid, and I really don't want to be,
Nokia
by Drake going up to number 8 might have more actual traction. The streaming's only getting stronger, and it appears like someone finally pushed this to the radio. Although I'm not seeing that much larger momentum there. It's going to be the true test if the industry is interested in seeing Drake come back if the song actually picks up on the radio. Either way, it overtook Birds of a Feather by Billie Eilish down at number 9, which spent the week wavering on the radio and losing streaming.
Bye.
And pushed back Lose Control.
Bye.
Swims to
Bye.
10, where it is getting
just
way slower than you might expect. And that will naturally take us to our losers and our dropouts, in which there really weren't that many that are worth mentioning, oddly enough. It's got the feel of one album bomb replacing others, where the biggest songs leaving are both tied to Bad Bunny here, with Que Pasaria, with Raul Alejandro, and EO taking their exit well short of making any year-end list for 2025. And while we then look at our losers, we also had Voya,
God, this album cover, bro.
Rico, fall down
like, what even is this? Like, what even is this album cover, bro? That's like me, like, going outside and just taking a random ass picture. Like, what is the point of this?
96. The larger story with our losers are just songs that just can't get any momentum going at all. For our continued losses, we saw Gimme a Hug by Drake just collapse down to 53, and Call Me When You Break Up by Selena Gomez, Benny Blanco, and Grace Abrams stumbled down to 94. And off the debut, we saw Sorry I'm Here for Someone Else by Benson Boone fall to 57, Anxiety by Sleepy Hollow and Doechii at 59.
I mean, that's just getting replaced.
Directly replaced. We'll come back to it. And Miss Whitman by Bad Baby mercifully fall to 68. Outside those, well, I Ain't Saying by Jordan Davis skidded down to 77.
Bad Bunny just being
Juicy and Wet by Sexy Red and Bruno Mars has just done nothing significant at 78. And 4x4 by...
I didn't even realize that song was still on the charts. What the fuck? The goddamn... Bro, Bad Bunny just being on the charts in general is low-key just crazy. I'm not gonna lie to you.
By Lainey Wilson slid back to 91. So, okay, what's filling in the gaps here? Honestly, not as much as you might think, even with both the expected spikes from Lady Gaga and Jenny, where in the returns, Disease came back for the former at 71, and Extra L with Doechii to 99 from the latter. And that's somewhat true with our gains here, as Abracadabra by Lady Gaga got the expected boost on Abracadabra go up to 19, but the rest are pretty fragmented.
I thought Abracadabra would have been in like the top 10 at this point.
Off the debut to 72. Worst Way by Riley Green continuing to have the Nashville radio at 48. Ordinary by Alex Warren getting a real streaming push at 43. And Who by Jimin
that song is like
from out of nowhere at 29.
Number one in the UK right now, no? When I watched the fucking list.
Gaga. So for the songs that are neither the best, the worst,
or no, it was like top 5.
Okay, Love Drug at 95, nearly one of the worst.
Maybe it was number 1.
Killa with Gestapelstein at 93, really not impressed by the Prince imitation there. Perfect Celebrity at 81.
I didn't listen to this album. I only listened to songs that are going to be on this video.
To You at 61 and Garden of Eden at 52. But okay, we still have a pretty busy week ahead with our new arrivals. Unfortunately, we got to start with number 100, Te Care La Ver by Aleman and Netten Vega.
Look, I appreciate the difference, you know, instead of it just being, like a normal reggaeton song, this guy's trying to sing. He's not doing it well, but he's trying, They did like a little beat switch, kind of little bit, and then, they got like the singing chorus and the rapping. It sounds, it's not good. It's not a good song, but at least it doesn't sound the same as every other fucking song, dude. Every other reggaeton song. Like, he's trying at least, you know what I'm saying?
Not gonna lie, these days if I see Netten Vega on a song, my stomach just sinks. I don't think I've heard anything from this guy that I've actually liked, even if he's backing up an artist I have never heard of before. Apparently Aleman is a Mexican rapper who's actually been active for a while. His first album came out in 2015, and he's dropped a project nearly every single year since, but this is his first crossover to the Hot 100, and you know what, I'll give him this. He's got a sharp flow, and he's easily the most tolerable part of this song, because Netten Vega slurring off-key through a dull hook alongside the bassy derivative reggaeton knock with a truly obnoxious squeaky synth behind him, and no, his rap verse is not redeeming any of this, where during the breakdown, Aleman takes over, and he's considerably more convincing. But then you translate the lyrics, and apparently it's an attempt to win back a girl by flexing money and the ability to protect her with his gun with a little bit of brand name porn. But then Netten Vega's verse is just kind of pissy. He admits the girl rarely ever comes around despite his asking. That seems like something you would rather not say on a song like this. But really, the hook on it is just atrocious. It utterly kills it for me.
Yeah, I understand.
Netten Vega touches apparently turns to crap. Like, what? Texas by Blake Shelton.
I kind of like this one. It's alright. I usually don't care for like these random country songs that nobody really cares about, especially Blake Shelton. I just don't give a fuck really. But this song, it's not bad. Not bad.
Alright, I'm legit shocked that this might precede a new Blake Shelton album. Last time I heard, he was effectively retired from making new albums, but since he retired from The Voice as well, I guess he's got enough time to put out his first project since 2021, and we got this, and ooh, yikes, this is bad.
Really? I thought it was fine.
The stuttering, brittle trap percussion, alongside the overproduced backing vocals that are trying for a call and response. Even if the mix feels a little warmer overall, it feels weirdly dated to go back to this sound. Then we got the lyrics, and of course Blake Shelton didn't write this, and he's basically musing where his ex could have possibly gone, listing off a bunch of states.
Of course he didn't write this.
Probably Texas with a bunch of George Strait references. Oh dear God, don't bring George Strait into this. But it's also another way this sort of callback feels so dated to a couple of years ago. What's worst of all is
the video thought it was the fucking cover for Disease in his bit.
Go back to Texas. Her name is Miranda Lambert, and she wouldn't be caught dead near this junk. So, yeah, if Blake Shelton wants to come back with this, I don't know. Maybe he should say
I didn't think it was that bad.
This sucks. Number 87.
This is better than all the other fucking boring-ass country songs.
Meek Mill.
Making sure the family eat well, I give them what they need. How far we always be well, I told Brody.
This isn't bad.
I'm praying he don't see.
Personally, it's not for me, but it's not bad.
It's funny. In my Patreon Discord, there was a conversation a couple of days ago about Meek Mill and why he hasn't had the staying power or respect out of the 2010s that a couple of his peers have had, especially as at one point he did have potential even going after the Drake beef. And we came up with a wealth of answers. The albums were very much of their time. He largely didn't land the prop crossover that well. He didn't have a ton of emotional range or range in his content. He and his team behaved like total assholes around knowledge with those freestyle recreations, but it left me a little bit surprised that he of all people charted here, and oh god, starting with those chipmunk vocals, that's a fine way to turn me off, but thankfully they get subsumed behind the pianos and the hazy overdubs as Friday and Meek Mill reminisce about the loss of their fathers and how they hoped that they would have been proud of them. I'm a little bit surprised that no drums came in, but it places the primary focus properly on both their acts, and to Meek's credit, he's pretty detailed in describing how much his father meant to him before he was killed. A loss that's weighed very heavily on him, and you could feel the visceral emotion as Meek vows revenge.
This song just makes me think of my dad not being alive, which I don't really want to think of that. So why would I listen to this song? You know what I'm saying?
Thinks about
just makes
digging
you
up
sad.
his father's grave. Not sure I would have gone there. But I think the larger problem on the song might be Friday. There's nowhere near the same level of detail or description, so much as just talking about his come up.
Like, damn, I just never want to think about that ever.
Distinct. And even if he's singing on the hook, the song just kind of feels unbalanced by Meek being such a presence. So this is not bad by any means. They're certainly trying to deliver the solemnity and the powerful emotion. I don't know, just not clicking fully. It happens. Number 85, Zombie Boy by Lady Gaga.
Nah. Nope. Not for me.
So we're only going to be talking about 2 Lady Gaga songs this week that debuted, and thankfully they're the good ones. So let's start off with what I think is slightly lesser. A tribute song to the titular zombie boy, Rick Janis, who you might remember from the Born This Way video, who got tattoos all over his body to emulate that skeleton look,
that dude?
A friend of Lady Gaga's before he passed away in 2018. And I like that she flipped the idea into this glossy fusion of 80s rap, swaggering new wave with some glossy guitar flourishes, and this grinding solo that rips forth.
I don't know how, but I do remember that tatted up dude in that Born This Way video.
Uncanny on the hook to sell some creepiness. It's a celebration of Janesse rather than outright mournful, and while I think the mix is a little bit overstuffed and overworked and kind of cluttered, hell, that's the exact same complaint I would have with Born This Way. It fits. True. It's not one of Gaga's best by any means, but it's pretty fun. I get why it works. It's worth hearing. Number 83, Like
Personally,
Jenny
not for me.
by Jenny.
Why does this sound like those fucking Sigma song edits? Am I the only one who hears that?
So we also got 2 new Jenny songs this week, and let's start off with the one I found profoundly annoying. And it's actually pretty straightforward as to why. It's attempting the same sort of brute force Blackpink flex where Jenny
like, do you guys not hear the Sigma edit in my, like, the Sigma edit audio, like
her, complete with that
in your headphones?
Gurgle of synth pulsating off the knocking bass, where there's no potent melody to speak of, but so many fluttering yelps alongside her. The problem is that for as much as Jenny describes how much people want to be like her, we don't get much
Do I want to be like her?
of who or what she is.
I would never want to be a woman.
For your solo debut. It lacks a certain flair when she tries to describe herself as a
Obviously,
trendsetter.
whoa, just to clarify, I would not want to be a woman because I don't want periods.
When so much of her own template
it just sounds annoying. It just sounds annoying to have. You know what I'm saying?
But minus any sense of humor or flair in her vocals. And that's the other thing. This sort of braggadociousness is not really Jenny's lane, that's more Lisa's, and the haughtiness she has is a kind of a bad look. And while we're here, as much as she says that AI can't copy this, not only is that functionally untrue, given how copied Blackpink's catalog is in cross AI, not a good thing, but it's true, but I'm not hearing that unique element that would make this organic or uniquely hers. So the entire song feels like an exercise in brand management, and not good for it. Mediocre at best. Number 80, Handlebars by Jenny and Dua Lipa.
Why do this sounds like like another song, but I don't know what that song is. Can anyone else hear it?
Okay, a song like this is a prime example.
Why does this sound like another song?
What does Jenny add to this that Dua Lipa couldn't have done herself? It's all in English. Jenny's got no writing credits on the song. The content is commiseration about falling too hard in love. This feels like a lumpy throwaway that Dua Lipa gave Jenny with the lumbering bass and the synths that balance out 90s sparkles with G-funk. They're at least a little bit more interesting if the vocal chemistry wasn't painfully awkward and the vocal blending wasn't so compressed and sloppy. Yeah, of course Dua Lipa is gonna sound good here. I know I'm one of the few remaining radical optimism defenders, but Dua Lipa is an
one of the
expressive
few
singer
remaining.
who can sell the exasperation, and I think the main metaphor of going over the handlebars, it's a pretty good one. But this song is so clunky that I get why Dua Lipa might have thought it was expendable, because it's not exactly good either. I know Jenny's gotten more critical praise than Lisa did in terms of album staying power, but the mechanisms to brute force a crossover hit are so transparently obvious, so yeah, don't care for this either. Number 69,
I don't
How
care for
Bad Do You Want Me by Lady Gaga.
I mean, people say this sounds like Taylor Swift, and yeah, they're right. It's not like it sounds like Taylor Swift, but it's not like a direct copy, you know. She's, well, I don't know actually. Maybe it is. I don't know. It really does sound like Taylor Swift, like very much.
Yeah, I think this is my favorite song from Mayhem, and I can admit that a significant part of it is due to sounding like Lady Gaga making a modern pop Taylor Swift song. The chilly synths, the swells of overdubs, the faster patter on the hook reinforced by the guitar, dropping out of singing midway through the second verse in order to emphasize and sell the line, but it's backed up by Lady Gaga having significantly stronger pipes, even if the production is still more compressed than it really should be. Hell, even the content isn't that far removed from Swift either. A relationship quarrel where Gaga can tell she's got a rougher edge than the good girl this dude wants her to be, and there's some degree in risk in being drawn to that unpredictable bad girl that he can't quite shake her. Gaga sells intense exasperation really well at trying to convince him to match her energy.
I couldn't even think of dating Lady Gaga.
The melodies across the hook. So yeah, this sneaks into becoming
I don't
a hit
know,
for
bro.
Gaga, even a lesser one. Yeah, I'm not gonna complain. Great song. Number 66, Sweet Dreams by J-Hope and Miguel.
This one's fine. I like Miguel. It's a cute little song.
I was legit surprised by this collab. The first from J-Hope since he finished his military service, and a collab with
These guys are still doing military service? My
now in
God.
terms of full-length albums. War and Leisure came out in 2017, that's all I'm saying. And this, I mean, it's fine, but man, I expected a little bit better. And a lot of that comes down to Miguel and his vocal production. A lot of his albums are these lush and humid, and his voice sounds so buttery and rich in the mix, and this just does not do that. He jumps into his falsetto, which feels a lot less playful and more compressed than it
I
should
think
be,
it sounds good.
alongside the gentle tapping groove with the acoustic guitar.
I think it sounds
and the
warm.
gauzy synths with the bass flutters, and yet it's not surprising it doesn't sound great because it does match J-Hope's production. It's taking Miguel into K-pop style production, and it just feels off to me. And it's kind of a shame because the rest of the song is fine. The interplay is passable, the groove is here to sell a pretty soft-focused love song. I've certainly heard a lot worse from K-pop as of recently, but as a Miguel fan, yeah, should be better. All I'm gonna say.
Damn,
and
I liked
finally, number 13, Anxiety by Doechii.
No. Sorry. No. This is no. People have been talking about how this is dance monkey tier. I don't agree with that either. I don't think it's annoying. It's just not. No, I'm sorry. Like if you listen to the actual, I don't like the full song either. Like even like with the clip, you know, like the fucking chorus that's in the sound bite that's like 15 seconds on TikTok where they play the fucking it's my anxiety. Like it's like you know what I'm saying? But even the full song, I don't even like that much. You know, I did see some people on Twitter were like, oh, she put anxiety on the fucking Alligator Tears album. She's so greedy. Bro, there are so many other artists that have done that. It's absolutely insane. Like, people really pick and choose when they want to, like, criticize people on a certain thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, Doechii putting anxiety on, I don't even know what the fucking album's called, Alligator Tears or whatever, bro. Like, who gives a fuck? Genuinely, who cares? You know what I'm saying? And I don't know, bro. It doesn't seem greedy. It seems like taking advantage of the moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is gonna be your biggest hit. Like, obviously, this is gonna be your biggest hit. This is her biggest hit. You know, this is basically already surpassed. What was the song? Denial's River. This is already past that shit. People love this song. I personally don't like it that much, but I think if I was an artist, I would do the exact same shit that she did. Like, you would be stupid not to do that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, no. Personally, not for me.
And now we have part 2 of the conversation from last episode, because as predicted, Doechii's re-recording of Anxiety went viral, hit the charts, and I'll be honest.
Although I don't really like the song much, I think it's the sample is very jarring at first, but I think it plays well into the sample. There's a lot of songs that just use the sample, just blatantly just carried off the sample, but I feel like this song kind of plays off of the sample beat pretty well. I'll give it a little bit of praise, you know?
Recording, I'm not much of a fan of this. Part of that is the sample and the production that borrows so much more from Goche's Somebody That I Used to Know. That song isn't just great, it's idiosyncratic, and it's so distinctive that if you're just gonna layer your own vocals on top, it's gonna be hard for me not to make the comparison to the 2010s classic that it is. And more than that,
I get that.
I just really don't care for Doechii's vocal line here. The re-recording shows how she's become a better singer, but she's trying to frame Anxiety as a taunt that she can't escape with that vocal sing-song she's doing. My work's a little bit too well in selling that. And the verses feel weirdly disconnected. The first is trying to showcase how her newfound come-up is exploitative of her, with the second casting a wider view of the rightward shift in her home state of Florida that'll crack down on blackness, queerness, and her brand of femininity. And yeah, all of that would cause anxiety, but it feels a half step from pulling it all together to pull the song together to fully work. And yeah, that also makes sense. If you're feeling anxious about the state of the modern world right now and you can't quite piece it all together, I get it. That's probably a major factor to why the song is suddenly as big as it is, but I kind of don't want to sit in that emotion, and this song kind of does. I don't think this is bad.
I see that.
But again, Alligator Bites Never Heal had a lot of better songs.
Oh, that's what it's called.
How much Doechii has grown since this, and more of them deserve that push. All I'm saying there. And yet, that's our week. Whew, God, this was rough. Thank God Lady Gaga can walk away with How Bad Do You Want Me in the top spot, and Zombie Boy as the honorable mention.
Zombie Boy.
Yeah, Te Coeur la Ver by Allemand and Net
Damn.
Vega. Yikes. With
that
this
shit is
honorable
ass,
mention,
I'm not gonna lie.
I'm saying Blake Shelton for Texas.
Really?
It's a total dud. Dude, I know you can make better music than this, even if you're not writing it. You can say no to bad songs and bad ideas. Unfortunately, next week is likely going to get a lot worse with that Playboy Cardi album bomb.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah. Oh, shit.
You're watching Billboard Breakdown.
I can't wait for that. Can't wait for that episode.
And I'll see you next time.
All right, guys. What do you think of the new rivals? Most of them were pretty shit. Well, okay. Most of them weren't for me. You know, Lady Gaga stuff. Look, I can see it working for other people. Anxiety is mid. I'm sorry, not a good song. Just not crazy for it. Yeah, man, what do you guys think? Tell me in the comments below. Go subscribe to Billboard Breakdown. Go subscribe to Spectrum Post. Subscribe to this channel. Go subscribe to my second channel. Go follow my Twitter down in the link in the description below. Thank you for watching.